start with observation in the worlds that we're in, which might look something like this. A lot going on, some danger, but kind of having this logical structure, or at least seeming like something is behind all of this. Or it might look something like this, kind of mysterious, whimsical, maybe not really planning and strict and rigid, but something more flowing and responsive, or maybe doing its own thing, and we're just kind of in it. But either way, I think there's a kind of passivity to our experience, for the most part, against the grand scheme. And we start to learn, become a little more expert in the ways of nature, start developing some ideas about how she works. Some of them seem to be true, give us true expectations, true results. Some of them don't. And we go about observing the world, and sometimes we get some new ideas. And we go about and they turn out to be righter than the ones we had before. But everything is kind of associative. Everything's a little bit of a guess. There's sort of metaphors for what's going on in the world. They're not really necessarily true. But we can come up with ways when it matters or when we're interested. And sometimes these ideas are never going to be right, no matter how many things we try. And if we bring them here, we'll be able to see that a lot quicker. If we kind of interrogate these little symmetries and associations that we think we're perceiving accurately, then she can kind of bring us down a bit, bring us back to nature. And we just have to accept what we are hearing here and just go about our ways. But we might be able to increase our ability to be precise here, our ability to distinguish, and indeed our ability to observe. And we'll still have humility, and we'll go back to the drawing board if we need to. And even if we don't, we can go back, see a difference, and eventually we'll become more like these two here. This guy here, he's wielding a kind of natural fact. He's standing in this natural world of danger, but confidently. He's even wielding it. Here we're at our learning, we're kind of taking this humanish face out of our eyes, seeing more, becoming perhaps something more natural. We're not living in our myths. We're becoming more ourselves through the process of attuning to what might really be going on. Or she might be nature taking back this kind of simplified space and showing for more complicated base reality. And we might run into issues here because these sort of intuitive, balancing ideas, balancing the kind of concepts and objects we see in our regular lives, might not really bring us there. So you have to be a little more creative, but doing something maybe a little more dry and almost random seeming, mathematical, not something that's necessarily intuitive and mystical and beautiful, but just something that's among the options of things that work. And we'll bring those to the testing tables, and we accept what we determine, and we become more and more like these guys here, and perhaps even move to the level of nature here. Perhaps we become like this empress over nature, able to do with it what she will, use it for her designs, landscape her garden, tame her beasts, or we become able to dance better with it, feel more amazed by its beauty, get deeper and deeper into its mysteries. By the way, we certainly become more attuned with it. And I would say the way that this happens is by increasing our observational ability. We don't just accept the base reality. If we want to become attuned here, we want to do what any of these cards are representing, we have to go beyond ourselves with technology. We need to build giant particle accelerators and space telescopes that fold and unfold. We need to learn systems that help us generate ideas, maybe even marry these two here. Find systems of thinking that are more rational and mathematical, less intuitive, but then we make those frames more intuitive to us. And of course, always improving our testing. But I think the major thing in this part of the scientific method that we're clearly actively engaged in, but it goes unspoken. You can hit a wall if you're just doing this cycle of observation and hypothesis. Part of the cycle needs to be, when you've done all the observation you can, all the low-hanging fruit has been plucked, we have to learn to peer even deeper, to see even farther, and to not let any technological barriers be the reason we stopped learning. We need some kind of other reason to say that this question is not one we look into. But we should never just be limited because we love this world and we are willing to change ourselves, change what we know about it, contradict our own intuitions to go further.